Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. Today we are going to be going over a very special unique item because it is not only a piece of equipment, it is also involved in a quest, which is rather rare. A lot of items that you can find in this game will not be involved in quests, and a lot of quest items that you can find are not generally used as items, and with very few exceptions. This particular item is known as the Where the hell did it go? Oh, there it is. Elusive. And it is elusive. It is the Stone of Jordan Ring. Sometimes I say it wrong. It is eloquently referred to as a Soj. It is referred to as a Soj. It is referred to as a lot of different things. Skill rings, all sorts of stuff. It is utilized in summoning Dclone, which is a very big part of what this ring is. And the backstory of this ring is so deep that we have to reach into the bowels of the internet to talk about this ring. So when Diablo first started, this ring was probably one of the most valuable things that you could own. It was also exceedingly rare, and most people could not find it. Even back in the beginning, when the spawn rate was relatively high compared to what it is now, it was still relatively rare. However, people had figured out a way to duplicate this particular item, and through the process of duping, had created a massive number of these rings. Pre-dupe protection technology, the Stone of Jordan ring actually had no way of knowing whether it was a legitimate copy or whether it was the original, right? Because they didn't have what was called a unique item identifier. So basically how the game works now is that whenever an item is dropped, it is given a unique item identifier. And items like the Stone of Jordan ring, if duplicated, will have an issue because they will no longer have a unique identifier. Because once the system has two unique identifiers within it that are the same, it classifies them both as duplicates and will delete them. Now, before the unique item identifiers were in place, people had duplicated literally thousands upon thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of these rings to the point of absurdity. And the Stone of Jordan ring became the currency for the game. People would often ask you, they would be like, how many Sojas do you want for that? And I'd be like, oh, I will take 3 Sojas. And they'll be like, well, I'm not giving you more than 2. And they'd be like, well, how about 2.5? And you're like, how are you going to give me a 0.5 of a Soj? And they would try and work something out, right? Well, the reason why Soj became the currency was because of the duping. And when unique item identifiers were put in place, no more Sojas could be duped. And because of the 90-day character deletion policy that used to exist on the old version of Diablo, not the new version, the Sojas were slowly and steadily disappearing from existence. When Lord of Destruction expansion came out, the Sojas were no longer really a currency anymore. And the currency kind of moved more toward runes, and the higher runes in general became more and more valued as a result. A lot of people will ask the question when I'm streaming, do you ever think that the Stone of Jordan rings will become currency again in Diablo 2? And I have to answer no, because unfortunately, because of the fact that they were only currency in the first place because of the duping, it really makes them next to impossible to become currency ever again. Now, the stats on the ring are particularly good. We have +1 to all skills, which is obviously very, very nice. And the fact that it is all skills and not an individual class it means that it will beef up things like CTA. We have adds 1 to 12 lightning damage, which at level 29 might actually help you. 20 to mana, and then increases maximum mana by 25%, which is massive. So I know my cheated in mana pool over here is 8,169, but when I put the mana ring on, you will notice that my mana goes up to 10,231. The boost to mana that the Stone of Jordan ring gives you is ridiculous. And the only other +1 to skill ring in the game is the Bull-Cathos Wedding Band. And the Bull-Cathos Wedding Band has 5% lifesteal and plus to life instead of mana. So when we're looking at whether we want to use the Stone of Jordan ring versus the Bull-Cathos Wedding Band, what we are looking at is, do we need mana or do we need life? Do we need mana or do we need life steal? That is the question. And the boost to mana on the Soges is so very nice. I cannot even explain. Wearing 2 of these is a massive boost to your mana pool. And it is also important to note, as I've said many times before, increasing your mana pool also increases your regeneration rate. The larger your mana pool is, the more regeneration rate you have, to the point of absurdity, to basically the point where you will no longer be able to even reduce your mana anymore. You can actually get your mana regeneration so fast that no matter how fast you cast an ability, no matter how much mana that ability costs, you will not be able to reduce your mana pool to 0. And the Stone of Jordan rings are certainly part of that equation. Now, what else is the Soge good for besides just plus the skills? Well, it's good for summoning Dclone. So in the original game, you could not summon Dclone in single player, but you can summon Dclone now. You can summon Dclone by selling 1 Soge to the NPC. And I'm going to go over to a character which might be able to take on a Dclone. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. Where are you, sir? Now, it's important to note that this has to be done in Hell difficulty. In single player, only 1 Stone of Jordan ring is required. However, if you are in online, which is Battle.net, you need anywhere between, I think it's 75 to, 125 rings. Let me just double check that real quick. It's also important to note that his name is not Dclone. Dclone is just what he has been affectionately called. His real name is Uber Diablo. His real name is Uber Diablo. Uber Diablo was the first Uber character that was included into the game, and because Uber Diablo is named Uber Diablo, that means that the Diablo that spawns in Uber Tristram is not Uber Diablo. His name is actually Pandemonium Diablo. So even I get them confused. Pandemonium Diablo is a different Diablo than Uber Diablo. Now, to summon Uber Diablo in online play, I'm going to get the exact number here for you. It's between 75 to 150 Stone of Jordan rings that have to be sold to the NPC. And you might be asking yourself, well, why is it so many rings? Well, the answer to the question is, at the beginning of this video, I talked all about how the Soges were getting duped, right? Well, the developers decided that they wanted to include a way to get rid of those duped rings. They couldn't just take them from people, although they probably could have, but there would have been quite a community outcry at this. So what they did instead was they created a system around selling the Soges to the NPC. Selling the Soge to the NPC would effectively remove it from the game, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. You created something that the players would want to do, and in the process, made it so that the players would sell the rings to the NPC, getting rid of them, and effectively trying to clear out the duped economy. The issue here is that they would still dupe the rings anyway, and although the rings would not instantly disappear, they would eventually, and since they were selling them to the NPC, and they didn't care that they were disappearing, it was a win-win for them. And the system did not care if it was duped or not. It only cared that you sold the ring to the NPC. So keep that in mind. So the entire Dclone system was literally just put in place to try and get rid of all the duped rings. And if that's not silly enough, I don't know what is. So what you want to do for Dclone is you want to get into the right game and you want to sell the rings. Now, this is not a Dclone video. This is a Soj video, but I feel like I would be doing the Soj a disservice if I did not at least show you a Dclone spawn. So you go to any NPC and you will take your Soj and you will sell it to NPC. And it will tell you on the screen how many Sojas have been sold. Now, this particular time, since I'm doing this on single player, it did not tell me how many Sojas were sold. It just simply says Diablo walks the earth, because in single player you only have to sell one. Now, to spawn Dclone, he actually doesn't spawn just anywhere. He spawns somewhere very specific. The specific place that he spawns is the absolute first super unique monster that you try to go to. It does not matter which super unique monster it is. It only matters that you go to a super unique monster. You can choose any of them that you would like. A lot of people will choose Eldritch the Rectifier. I am going to choose Rakanishu. Not for any particular reason other than I just want to choose Rakanishu. And let's switch to... do I have fanaticism on this boy? I do not have fanaticism on this boy. Oh, Lord. And there he is. He found me. What's up, punk face? And as you can see, he is Diablo. He is just a much stronger version of Diablo. Very much so. And I don't even know if this character has the correct equipment to even be able to take out Uber Diablo. Let's go into our stash real quick with our infinite amounts of equipment. Let's see if I can pull out the correct gear to actually be able to take him on. I'm using a Gloom. It would certainly be better if I had a Chains of Honor. That would be nice. We need Asteron's Iron Ward will actually work. That is fine. High Lord's Wrath will work okay. We don't have any boots on for some reason. Don't know why my boots are missing. Zotted Herald of Zakarum will certainly work. I could certainly use a better helmet than a peasant's crown. I don't have any boots. I don't have any boots. Why do I not have any auras either? Like, what am I running? I'm running Conviction. I mean, okay. Conviction it is, then. And I really need Fanaticism. That's part of my issue here. Fanaticism. I don't even have enough stats to be able to wear most of these. There's my dream. Hold on. There we go. I was running dual dreams. I remember that. Let's see if I can kill him with dual dreams, shall we? So conviction and dual dreams, and let's grab some potions. We'll have a little bit of fun killing Uber Diablo real quick. This is players 1, and this is a cheated in character. Hopefully he can pull it off. Now, as you can see, Uber Diablo does use all the regular Diablo abilities, including Armageddon, which he doesn't use in his regular form. So he has the nice lightning, he has the fissure that comes out. He also has just a constant Armageddon, which is constantly on him, just nonstop. And he also does the cold touch as well, which is very powerful. So, you know, since we're talking about the Stone of Jordan Ring, we might as well kill Uber Diablo. It is important to note that he regenerates very quickly, and if you would go to town to regenerate, pull up, you know, get more potions, things like that, a lot of the times by the time you come back, he's at full health again. So keep that in mind. He's not particularly difficult to kill. He's actually just more difficult to get to spawn. If you're in single player now, it's obviously very easy if you can get your hands on a single Soj. However, in multiplayer, you require a much larger amount of Sojas, and it takes a coordinated effort between all players. And this is important because that coordinated effort really does have to be quite well coordinated. Because the entire process of getting access to the correct game where Diablo can walk the earth is painful, to say the least. His regeneration rate is much higher than my chance to hit him, unfortunately. I might have to switch to a little bit of smiting, perhaps. I don't even know if I have open wound. This is terrible. I don't know how I got him down so quickly, and then now he's just floating there at like 1% health. Apparently I can damage him down to 1%, but I can't actually kill him. There we go. And when he dies, of course, he gets this beautiful thing here, which is known as the Annihilus Charm. The Annihilus Charm is an amazing little charm which you can trade between all your characters and will definitely be useful to you no matter what. It does roll various stats, but this video is not about the Annihilus Charm now, is it? So we get +1 to all skills from that, which is very nice. The Annihilus Charm is something that I will cover in another video. It is not something that I'm going to cover here. I'm also not going to cover the Diablo Clone spawning methods. That will be for another video as well. I just didn't feel like it would be a good video about the Soge if I didn't at least go over spawning Dclone and killing him real quick. As always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and the last thing we're going to do before we leave today is we are going to go over the the drop chance for the Soge. Now, Soges are relatively rare. I have not found very many of them the entire time I've been playing Diablo. In fact, I've only found one, and I've been playing for a very long time. I don't know exactly why it is that I don't find them very often, but the probability of finding them is actually pretty darn crap. Let's go to bosses first, shall we? And I'm pretty sure that it's probably going to be Nightmare and Dariel, but let's double check anyway. So yes, Quest, Nightmare, and Dariel, 1 in 1,979 chance. Farming Nightmare and Dariel is really the best way to get yourself a Soge, and despite the fact that I have had terrible luck with it, I know quite a few people who have had actually pretty good luck with that. Andariel in Hell also has a pretty decent chance, but not as good as Andariel in Nightmare. You can also get them from normal Diablo, believe it or not. Normal Diablo has a 1 in 3,483rd chance, which is actually pretty hilarious. And that's under the quest killing. If you kill him at a non-quest, it's 1 in 5,265, which is it's rather silly, huh? That normal Diablo can drop one of the most powerful items in the game, right? Let's take a look at super uniques. So one of the best super uniques to kill for a Soge is the Summoner in Nightmare, Radamant in Nightmare, the Countess in Nightmare, Neelathak in normal difficulty, the Summoner in Hell, Neelathak in Nightmare, under the Neelathak in Nightmare, and Neelathak in Hell, and everything else just gets progressively worse from that point on. And as far as regular monsters go, what you're going to find is that most of the really high probability chances are in Nightmare and normal difficulty. Mostly Nightmare difficulty. Because of the fact that the Soge is level 29 and it was posed to be kind of like what you would get at the end of the game, that's where they decided to put it. Anyway, thanks for watching, and keep watching.